So how many of you are thinking about going into marketing?
I am certified, so.
Joe Grover does it.
You were the first, how come?
He's my ward, he does it. Joe Grover.
You're who?
My ward, he does it.
Cordy?
Yeah. It's like the guy in my ward.
Oh, okay.
It's like my friend.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, he
And
works for home unit.
nice, nice.
He makes those great words.
So no matter what business area you go into, marketing is an aspect of it. So, you will have to have an understanding whether you take part in it or you don't. You may change. In fact, when I was sitting in your seat at this time, I wanted to be an English major. Didn't work out that way, but content is marketing, so that helps a lot. So my name is Michelle. I'm a CEO, founder, and lead strategist for ID Wild Advertising. I opened it in 2007 when you guys were like 4, right? Just kidding. It's funny, when I first opened my agency, I started out doing a whole bunch of traditional media, actually. I did radio, billboards, print, television, you name it. I loved it. But then when the internet came around, I was actually at KSL. That was my last regular traditional job. And when the internet came around, they were wanting us to sell KSL.com to our clients, but by space on the KSL.com, we see the ads, right? They wanted us to sell those. So I was like, okay, great, I'll go out and do that, sell it to my clients, but I always wanted to put my clients first. So I needed to know that they were getting what they were paying for. And if you'll just go to the next slide and turn the tree on, that'll be fine. Just the play. So I just wanted to know they were getting what they were paying for, but what they were seeing is not their ads, they were seeing all these other national ads coming in from Google, right? And I was like, well, why is this? How are they getting here, right? So I discovered at that time that there was a back end to Google, right? At that time, nobody knew that you could run Google Ads or Google Display or anything like that back in the day. And when I discovered it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can buy KSL.com for like 57 cents on the cost per thousand for my clients. This is neat, this is interesting, as opposed to $10 cost per thousand. So I got into Google and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the trackability, the accountability. I can track every dollar down to every sale with their tools, which was, Larry Page was one of his biggest, Larry Page is the founder of Google. And that was one of his biggest things, is we want to be able to prove that it's working, how it's working. And so that's what really got me interested, because you're in radio and in television and somebody gives you $6,000 or $10,000 and you're just like, how'd it work? But this was like, oh wait, no. This is exactly how it worked. And that's a lot better of a place to be in, I think. So go ahead and let's see. That's that. Okay, so that's when I left. I discovered Google, became certified in Google. One of the things about working in traditional media that was actually really cool for all those years is it let me get a really good understanding of how each one worked. What were the strengths and weaknesses of each one, how we picked our audiences, and then also to work with a whole bunch of different clients. Because in marketing, you have to decide, you have to go to your client, your prospective client, that you want them to run a campaign and say, well, what's unique about you? What makes you better than the next guy? And how do we exploit that? So that gave me a lot of knowledge on how to do that and how to make it work for each of the different mediums, which works now in digital because there are so many different mediums. There's social, there's search, there's display, there's video. You probably know more than I do, actually. When it comes to social. But anyway, so I started out the company just basically wanting to do Google ads, Google search ads, right? Because it was easy, it's the simplest kind of marketing. Somebody sits down and says, I want this. And they're like, okay, here you go. These are these things, that was intent-based marketing. You're not just throwing your message out to a bunch of people that may or may not want it. So, that to me was the coolest thing, and that's why I started the company. But then as you start to build these campaigns, these search campaigns, you're realizing that these websites that these customers are bringing you aren't likely to convert, meaning aren't likely to turn someone into a sale or a customer, right? So you have to start going, okay, well, I want to change this website. How do we do this? I hire people like my creative director, Rob, who designs amazing websites for me. And then I hire people like Eric, my coder, who codes clean, efficient, amazing, well-ranking websites for me. So we were able to take that and put all of that together and start creating that perfect funnel. But then everybody wants to know, what about this? What about that? What about this? And you always have to be aware of all of the different opportunities and be aware of the strengths of them and how you can use them. So it got really, really fun. There became so many more things to do. So first thing we do, search engine optimization. There's a ton of ways to handle search engine optimization. That means you're going to get that client's website to appear at the top of the organic results in Google. There are philosophies, there are, a myriad of philosophies. There are 200 different factors that go into search engine optimization. The way we do it is we think about, okay, so Google, how they index a website, right? They go in and send out a spider, and the spider is supposed to crawl this website and say, what is this website all about? So if you go in and you crawl this code and you get stuck in a whole bunch of ugly, crappy, yucky code, Google can't figure out what you are. So we write it the way Google wants to see it, and we end up ranking. So we do that. We also do search engine marketing, as I mentioned, which is the keyword research, setup, management, reporting, budgets, display, strategy, setup, management, reporting, budgets, remarketing, and audience management. Because now you can actually set cookies on your website. As you've seen, you go to a website, right, and it says, allow these cookies. What these cookies are doing, they're putting a tag on you that says, if I go to the next website, you're okay to follow me to this next website and show me your ads. Right, so you look at a pair of shoes, right, online, and then you go to another website and the pair of shoes, the ad for the pair of shoes is following you around. That's audience management. So we have to decide which audiences deserve which messages and display them to them at the right time. Placement targeting, YouTube video marketing. YouTube pre-roll marketing is so awesome. When I used to run pre-roll advertising for Solitude Ski Resort in the beginning of the videos, and we were getting a video view at like 7 cents a view. That's unheard of from like traditional media perspective. So it's low cost if you know how to do it right and you can get in the right places. We also do website design, development, and management, obviously. Social media. Now this is fun. We do management, we do the calendars, we develop the content, we do the creative, we interact with their audiences, and then we obviously report all of these things to the client. Design, we do website animations, banner ads, social ads, like that tree you just saw, roughly that, social ads and posts, print, billboards, video, and whatever else it takes. So we're very whatever it takes kind of feeling. If the client says, I want this, they're like, okay, well, we'll go do that. Even if we have it, we're going to learn it. And then, the next slide. Other things that we do, paid social campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can also do them on Amazon. We don't do any of that yet, so hopefully nobody has any questions about that. Consulting services with our clients, like what should you be doing, that kind of thing. Print asset trafficking, billboard campaigns, email marketing, event management and marketing, reputation management. We have software that sends out people saying, did you like our services? Take our, do this review here. We respond to the reviews, that kind of thing. So anything and everything digital for our clients, and even outside of that in terms of print and billboards we handle. So any of these areas that I just spoke of, you guys can ask me any questions on these things and I can fill you in. Did I bore you terribly?
Take a look at your questions, guys, and see if you have anything related to digital stuff, Facebook, that kind of stuff. Yes?
Do you guys choose like your own work hours, like when you work on it, things like that?
Yes and no. Around COVID, we moved our offices home. So we did have, a big office where everybody came in every day. And now we typically try to still work every day to be available for our clients, but we all work from home now. So I work with my puppies at my feet.
That's so nice.
Yep, that's the best.
I love puppies.
Yeah, you can be in your jammies on the bottom and
Business on top.
Business on top. You're like, hi, yep, I'm not in my pajamas. Anybody else? All right, let me ask you guys some questions then. Oh, good.
Is there a company that you helped that like you remember the most?
You know, I have to say we've been really good at building companies to the point where they double themselves or triple themselves in sales, and then they end up selling. So that's kind of been no fun. But I would say doing that for Solitude Ski Resort was one of my favorite. We had Sport Court International and their dealers and distributors, and because of what we did with them, maintaining their brand online across all of their different markets, they were doubling and tripling their sales. So those are some of the fun ones. So anybody, can I ask anybody, who wants to answer this question? What do you know about Google Ads? What do you know about it? I'm just gonna pick if nobody raises their hand.
They're annoying.
Huh?
They're annoying.
They're annoying.
They're annoying. They're annoying. So when you search and you find something, and you see the sponsored results on the top of the page, do you always click on, do you ever click on those, or do you click on what's below as well? Where do you click when you go to the page? Huh? Everything as long as it's relevant, right?
Exactly.
If they're saying what you want to hear. Okay, so what do you know about Google Ads?
They're targeted towards people who might like your stuff.
Yep. So Google Ads are when you search for something and the results at the top come up. You say, I'm looking for a black sweater. So that shows up, black sweaters here or there, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times that's not as relevant. But anyway, but that's Google Ads. But what else do Google Ads do besides search? Yes?
Aren't there like cookies involved where you have to like accept cookies on your computer?
He came in late.
Yes, there are cookies involved. Yeah, there are cookies involved. And actually, the maximum amount of time that people can keep you on their cookies is 365 days a year. But I'm gonna tell you something you probably don't, I shouldn't tell you because I want to be able to reach you as an advertiser or reach you people. Go in and clear your cache from time to time. If you don't want the ads, clear your cache. But then all of a sudden you're going to get ads that aren't relevant to you. You still get ads, they just won't be as relevant to you. So you have to decide, do I want relevant stuff to me? Because it's creepy that they're following me, or... So, yes?
What's like the worst marketing, it's not like, your like website you use for like ads, like does it bring a lot of like people to your site or whatever?
Say that one more time.
Like what's the worst thing that you use to market, like to your thing?
What's the worst thing that I've used?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, and this comes to mind because it's recent, you would think that marketing for jobs, like on, say, LinkedIn, like if you're a company marketing for jobs or marketing even on Indeed sometimes, is going to be more cost effective than actually going after it with Facebook. And you're wrong. LinkedIn is like 10 times the cost. So in terms of a cost perspective, there are some platforms that are pretty bad. And I'll tell you this. When I first started, there were a lot of people that came up to me, and everybody develops their own software. Everybody does. You have to learn how to sift through that. So when I first started, I went with this company. It was called MaxPoint because I was afraid to spend Solitude's huge $40,000 budget, all of it, just with the way I was doing it in the Google display. I thought, all right, I'll give these guys a try because they're supposed to have like credit card data and all this other stuff. You know what? No, it doesn't. A lot of those new software companies, they're just not tried and true. I'd stay with what's tried and true. Definitely. Yes?
What was like one of your favorite ad campaigns you've made?
It was the Solitude. I remember we ran actually a Pandora radio campaign for Solitude, and we were talking about basically, dissing the line up to the little Cottonwood Canyons, more, it was more mountain time was our, if we go up here, we're gonna get more mountain time on the other one. And I was actually at the opening of Ski City USA, and I was standing next to the owner, Bob Boner, who owns Snowbird. And he walked up to me and he goes, "You took a direct swing at me." I did. So when you have a competitor, when you have one of your clients' competitors come up and tell you that you just took a swing at them and they're aware of it, that's a win in my book. Making a splash, that's what's fun. Make a splash. Yes?
Who are your biggest competitors, like, in the business?
My biggest competitors directly?
Yeah.
There was, you know what, when I first started out in 2007, there weren't very many of us. And I was definitely the first female. And there were a big group of BYU grads that all kind of banded together in their little groups and created all these different companies. Most of them are out of business now. But it was kind of that. In fact, Utah Business, I did an article on it, and I described them as the ping pong foosball playing boys clubs. And that was who my biggest competitors seemed to be at the time. But they just played way too much foosball. So they're out of business now. Actually, I would say I don't look at them as competitors. I look at them as, there's a lot of business out there to be done. And the ones that are good, like me, keep clients. Our clients have been with us on average 10 years plus. They stay. And the reason they stay is we do a great job. And there are other agencies out there that do a great job too. And there's frankly not enough of us, so I don't feel like there is.
So are you like top dog, top cheat? So like, you do all your competition, so it's just you?
No, I'm one of them.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm one of them. I'm the first chick in the state.
That's good.
And I'm sorry, I love that. I love when girls pioneer things.
What's the most popular business you've worked with, or person or ad or whatever you worked with?
I would say my favorite and most popular was Solitude, hands down. That was a blast, and it wasn't just because we got ski passes. That helped, but but we actually now, what happened is we had a lot of clients in the medical field. We started with a couple, and word of mouth kind of traveled, and so we seem to have a lot more medical clients now than fun clients, but that's really good because the fun clients, like say for Gardner Village, for example, or something like that, when COVID hit, they went away. So we're insulated with the medical somewhere.
Was it hard to start the business during the recession?
No. And the reason it wasn't was because I was providing a service that was lower cost and higher value. That the companies actually that came with me from the start survived and thrived because their competitors yet weren't on Google. So that was an interesting time because at that time, if I could get you up on Google and you were the only one in your category, you were going to win. You were going to be the person that they chose. So it was fun, actually, helping businesses through that recession. I felt like if I'd been offering something more expensive and less effective, probably so, but this was good. But I don't know what that would be like now. So let's go back one. Let me ask you a question. So if you guys think about, because I can't believe I'm in an entire room of young people who would not be excited about doing social media. Is anybody in here excited about that?
I'm excited.
You're excited about that?
Someone in here already has a podcast.
Oh,
Ooh, it's called the Little Boat Podcast.
that's awesome. That is really awesome.
Thank you.
Haven't
Definitely
you interviewed
continue
Top
that.
Gun and stuff?
And interviewed Liliani.
Do you know what, when my son's a gamer, and when he wanted all these games, and I said, okay, your job over this summer, I think it was his sophomore year, your job over the summer is to start Twitching Twitching, is that what it is?
I think it's called.
Is he
So I wanted him to start streaming and talking and doing the podcast and I was just like, because I watch him game and sit there and I mean, he's hysterical. He's irreverent, but he's hysterical, you know? And so I would like, let's make this happen. And it's like, come on, grab a hold. So he did that. He grabbed a hold of something and I think that's valuable.
Do you know who Logan Paul is? You know who Logan Paul is?
I don't.
You do?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Yeah, he's interviewed him.
He's what?
Interviewed him.
I'm gonna take your backpack out of your mouth now.
Oh.
What you're saying.
You interviewed him. That's awesome. What does he do?
He,
He's a boxer.
yeah, he boxes and he has a podcast too. I interviewed him on Instagram Live.
Wow. So who's your goals? Like, I mean, who do you want to interview? Is that what you want to do? Just interview?
Like Andrew Tate and get my last one. I want to interview Andrew Tate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody started a young person's business podcast, you know, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Probably go pretty well. You could probably get a lot of business owners to interview with you. I could get you 12 right now.
Isaac, hire her so she can
Advertise the
out because
podcast.
you just have all the top 10 members.
You know what I think is really fun about what we do also is that, you know, whether it's a search ad or it's a display ad or it's a social ad or whatever it is, you get to see it like right live then, you know? I mean, like as soon as you're done getting your ad approved with Google, it's like half an hour after you're done writing it, Google it, you're like, yep, there we are. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely fun. So, I mean, and they provide the tools to teach you. So that's what's good is you can actually have a literal free social media Google Ads education. That wasn't around when I was starting out, but they have it now, and I'm really surprised more people don't take advantage of it. It's a cool opportunity. Any other questions before I leave you be?
Last chance. Anybody else want to ask one of the questions they have written down?
Oh wait, there's questions written down?
They all wrote 3 questions.
Okay, pick one.
So just call on somebody.
Me? Yes, please.
How did you get into advertisement business?
Okay, that was kind of interesting. Well, I went after high school. I went to college for a minute. I got an associate's degree in marketing, and then I thought it would be fun to do hair. That was fun, right? So I did that for a minute, and then I ended up doing films, like, you know, Sundance films. I did the makeup and hair for films and stuff like that. It was great. I taught at modeling agencies. It was great. But then all that ran out. And my mom was like, hey, remember that school I paid for, you know, at your, I was like, yeah. She's like, well, come use it for me. She owned a restaurant downtown. And the restaurant people, I watched the people that were selling radio and television come in and try to sell it to me. And I was like, you guys are idiots. I can do this. So my mom's dear friend, John Salvis, who's the publisher of City Weekly, gave me a shot. And that's where I went.
What school did you go to?
Olympus. And you?
Alta.
Alta, yes, quick. My son's went to Brighton. Oh, you.
Did you do Steps to the U?
Do they do steps to the U?
Yeah, that's like a program we have at our school.
No. No. I'm really old though, so that was a long time ago. I am. My son is 28.
He's like 18.
You're sweet. You're sweet. Thank you. No, they didn't have that then.
How do you advertise for a marketing company?
How do you advertise for a marketing company? Okay, that's a question because that's been on my list. Like me, is they have this thing. It's called like the cabinet maker has terrible cabinets. The shoemaker has holes in his shoes, kind of a thing. So it's the same thing with marketing. I literally have on my to-do list all these things I want to do for us as to marketing our company, and it gets moved, and it gets moved, and it gets moved because clients always come first, right? So, but basically, you do the same kind of deployment that you would for any of your companies. But, you know, when you sit down and the client says, okay, we're gonna pay you for 20 hours to develop this campaign, it's a lot easier to focus on that than taking the 20 hours to do it for yourself. But it's something that I've made a big pact to do this year. But you can run search, you can run social, LinkedIn, actually. Sales-wise, it's interesting. You try to see what companies are liking and following the companies that you already work for. So you're like, oh, I see that you love this. Hi, you know. So that's kind of how you get it in there, is by paying attention to who likes and follows what you do.
Is that like the style of your like theme? Is that your theme, like your brand, like the tree and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
What's one thing you want to expand on in your business?
Oh, what do I want to expand on my business? Like he was just saying, I want to expand on marketing my own business. I look at the list of things that each of my longtime employees has on their plates, and I'd like to work on, you know, maybe getting some support for them, maybe some interns, but they go, when I bring up that word, so. I don't know, I'd like to focus on, I definitely would like to get a few more clients that are fun, because the medical ones aren't super fun sometimes. So I'd like another ski resort or something like that. Actually, or a garden center. Yes?
Do you like, is there a shot, like, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, I'll work for you for free, but just teach me, like, kind of an apprentice still? Would you ever take that opportunity?
I would take that opportunity, depending on how dedicated they were, you know,
Yeah.
and what, because if you're going to, for example, my time is important and my knowledge is important. And so if I'm going to spend time training somebody and giving that, I would like it if they would be interested enough to be, you know, giving back to the company.
Yeah, it'd be like, they would help you with like errands and stuff like that, and work for you, just kind of make your job easier.
That kind of stuff, or, you know, a different eye on content is always helpful. We may not use it, but a different eye on content is always helpful. I have a friend who I actually worked at Clear Channel Radio with. His name's Todd, and he opened an agency, and his agency was just churning and burning interns. And I don't know if I would feel good about that, you know? Because I feel like you're kind of taking advantage of it to a certain point.
Yeah.
So I haven't really done that. But I should. I like to teach. So definitely. Okay, I'm going to pick each table real quick. I think we have about 5 minutes. Each table's going to get a question from Missy.
How do you find out what like people like, or like how to get people to click on the ads?
How do you get them to click on the ad? Well, it's the message, you know, entice them, make them curious. But you'd be surprised. There's two different ways to run display advertising. The first way to run display advertising is, like you said, click here, buy now, come back, I've got a better deal for you, that kind of stuff. But the second way that I've found is that if I bid by the click in the system and I discourage the click, then I'm going to get a lot of branding impressions. And branding impressions are very valuable too. So then we'll just keep running the same brand creative over and over and over, and I'm bidding by the click, but there's really no reason for them to click, so I'm getting impressions kind of free. So it depends on your objective. Yes?
Do you just do marketing online and like social media, or do you like do billboards and stuff, like physical?
We do physical stuff.
Okay.
We do billboards or print campaigns or, you know, radio. We like to do radio. In fact, we do some programmatic display also. That's not listed on here because we're just getting started in doing that. Programmatic display is more like CTV, essentially, so that when you're on your Hulu or you're on your Samsung TV or, you know, Pluto TV or whatever, I can buy those. So. But we usually we have been in the past just doing like pre-roll YouTube with our commercials.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Definitely. Okay, I haven't heard anything from this table. So you guys want me to pick? Okay.
Do you have to go to college?
No,
No?
it helps to understand the principles of marketing, absolutely, basic principles. But, when I say that you can get certified in Google, they have an entire online classroom, free. If you want to get certified in Facebook, they have their entire blueprint to get certified, free. But if you don't understand the principles of marketing, then probably not going to work out as well. But if you fundamentally understand them, like let's say you have an uncle or a brother or somebody who is in marketing and has helped you understand it to a degree, you might could do okay. But I think having those tools under your belt regardless. I mean, as I'm posting ads for employees in the past or whatever on LinkedIn, and I see the list of skills that they have in their resume, even if it's not, I'm not asking for someone to come in social media that's Google Ads certified. If that person comes to me and they have Google Ads certification, that's just another certification that you can use to further your career. Say, I have this, I understand this. It's valuable. Definitely. Okay.
Does that man work for you?
That man is my creative director.
I just follow her around.
Oh, that's good. I like your camera, sir.
Yeah, I do all the animations and design and video.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, he's killer. He's killer.
His name's Killer.
What's his name?
Rob is his name, not Killer.
Killer Rob.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're so close.
I decided early on that there were industries I wouldn't touch and just wouldn't. So absolutely.
What type of industries won't you touch?
Automotive, lending, real estate.
How come?
I don't like it. And a real estate agent, when they have a real estate agent come to me and talk to me for an hour to an hour and a half about what they want, and their goals are completely unreasonable because they need to be part of a larger collective to actually break up top. They can't do it themselves. With that being anyway, so just those are just ones I don't like.
Bail bonds. That's
Bail
another-
bonds.
Can't
bail
touch
bonds.
them just because Google pushes them down. So it's really hard for us to make them rank when Google doesn't like them.
Well, and that's also the
Same
case
lawyers.
with ketamine.
Yeah.
Some of the new, how do we call it? Some of the new psycho drugs that they're bringing out nowadays, those are really tough. But Google doesn't like them. They're like, nope. So that and pharmaceuticals. Do you guys know what Bio-35 is? Have you seen it in the stores? I had Bio-35 for a long time, and it was too hard because you have all of these supplements. Think about it. You have a bazillion supplements, and if every single one of them wanted to rank, it would be crazy. So Google just said, nah, you know what? We're going to make this too hard for you. We're going to say you can't. You have to have all these special licenses in pharmacy to do all these things, and it just was too many hoops to jump through. So I said, nah, no on that one. But it was fun for a minute. I loved building their new website house. All right, I think everybody got a question on every table. Yay!
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.